Welcome back to The Deep Dive, the show where we cut through the noise, untangle complex information, and really hand you the most important nuggets of knowledge.
That's the goal.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a document that's literally building the future of your smart home, the Matter 1.4 Core specification. Think of it as the grand blueprint that finally gets all your smart lights, thermostats, and door locks speaking the same language, no matter who made them.
It is a dense document, definitely highly technical, no doubt about it. But our mission today is to give you a true shortcut, a way to understand the surprising facts and crucial mechanisms behind this universal protocol.
Right.
We're going to extract exactly what you, the user, need to know about how your smart devices will connect, how they'll communicate, and stay secure without getting lost in a labyrinth of jargon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack the elegant architecture of Matter, reveal how new devices smoothly join your smart home, explore the robust layers of security protecting your family,
Which is key.
and even discover how updates will reach your gadgets. Get ready for some genuine aha moments that will fundamentally change how you think about connected living. The foundation. What does Matter?
Okay, let's unpack this idea of universal communication. For years, our smart homes have felt a bit like the Tower of Babel, right?
Absolutely.
Every brand speaking its own dialect. Matter aims to fix that. But what does universal truly mean in this context? What's the core idea?
Well, it really means creating a common language that all devices understand, regardless of who made them. Matter is built on IPv6, which is crucial because it allows devices to use standard internet protocols.
Okay.
The big takeaway here is that your smart lights aren't just talking to some proprietary hub, they're connecting to your home network in the same fundamental way your laptop or phone does. That's pretty revolutionary for interoperability.
Right, using standard IP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The specification defines how these devices communicate, from the application layer, what the user sees, down to the network level, ensuring seamless understanding. And it's not just one big, messy network, is it? You mentioned architecture. There's a layered approach, almost like a digital building.
Precisely. This layered architecture helps separate different responsibilities, ensuring that communication flows efficiently and, importantly, securely through various components. Think of it like a perfectly organized city, maybe.
Yeah.
Separate districts for housing, commerce, infrastructure. Each part handles its job without messing with others. It leads to a much more stable and scalable system.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for you listening. The concept of a fabric. When I first heard that term, I admit I wasn't entirely sure what to picture. What exactly is a fabric in Matter, and why is this concept so foundational for building a truly secure smart home?
Yeah, fabric is a key term. It's essentially a collection of Matter devices that share a common trusted root. Imagine it as your own secure, private digital household. Only devices you've explicitly invited and verified are allowed to operate inside.
Like a walled garden.
Kind of, yeah. The root of trust is established by a root certificate authority, which issues digital credentials, think digital passports to devices. Within this fabric, each device gets a unique, stable 64-bit node ID. The key insight here is that Matter isn't just about devices talking. It's about creating isolated, secure domains within the broader internet,
Okay.
preventing cross-home interference or, rogue device access.
That private domain analogy clicks. But what if I have multiple smart home ecosystems already? Maybe Google Home for lights, Apple HomeKit for security.
Right, a common scenario.
Does Matter force me to combine them, or can they all use Matter but still remain separate? That feels like it could get complicated.
That's a fantastic question, and it's something Matter addresses head-on. It absolutely supports multi-admin functionality.
Multi-admin. Okay.
Yes. This means you can have multiple administrators, different smart home apps or ecosystems managing devices across different fabrics, or even managing the same devices. It's handled through sophisticated naming and what's called fabric-scoped data, like creating digital fences around specific data, ensuring clear ownership and management without the systems getting tangled.
So flexibility without sacrificing security.
Exactly. It's designed to give you ultimate flexibility. 2. Getting connected. Discovery and commissioning.
So we've established how Matter creates this secure, private fabric for your smart home. But how does a brand new device, fresh out of the box, actually get into this exclusive club? That crucial onboarding step is what Matter calls commissioning, essentially. It's a secure initiation process, right?
Exactly. Commissioning is the defined sequence of operations that brings a new device, which the spec calls a commissionee, into your fabric. It assigns it an operational node ID and its unique credentials. And the device doing the setup, like your phone app, is the commissioner.
Right. Now, I'm very familiar with scanning QR codes for smart devices. That seems pretty standard now. Is that how Matter works, or is there more to it?
That's definitely one of the primary ways, and probably the most user-friendly for many people. You can initiate commissioning by scanning a QR code or, alternatively, entering a manual pairing code. Both methods contain an onboarding payload.
K-load.
Yeah, it's just the data needed to start. It includes vital info like the vendor ID, product ID, a passcode, and something called a discriminator. The discriminator is actually a clever little bit of information. It helps your phone or hub quickly filter and find the exact device you're trying to set up, even if you have, like, multiple identical light bulbs waiting.
Ah, okay. That's convenient. But what if I don't have a QR code? Or maybe the device is somewhere awkward to scan. Does Matter offer flexibility beyond just scanning?
Absolutely. Matter offers a lot of practical flexibility here. Devices can enter what's called commissioning mode through various physical interactions. Think pressing a reset button a certain number of times, or holding down a setup button while plugging it in, or maybe following simple instructions from a device's own little settings menu, or even the manual.
Right, like we've done with older Wi-Fi devices sometimes.
Similar idea, yeah. The goal is to make it as user-friendly as possible, accommodating different device types and user preferences.
So once the device is in commissioning mode, blinking its light or whatever, how does my phone or hub, the commissioner, actually find this new smart gadget? Does it just shout its presence across my network?
Pretty much. Devices in commissioning mode actively announce their presence. Uncommissioned devices, the brand new ones, use short-range tech like Bluetooth LE or sometimes Wi-Fi public action frames to basically say, hey, I'm here and ready to be set up.
Okay, short range first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once a device is actually on an IP-bearing network like your Wi-Fi or Ethernet, it uses standard DNS-based service discovery, usually MDNS.
Like bonjour.
Exactly like Bonjour. Or if it's a Thread device, it uses a Thread border router to get discovered.
That's great that devices announce themselves for discovery, makes setup easier. But my immediate thought is, what about privacy?
A very valid concern.
If my devices are constantly broadcasting their presence, especially initially, does that open up new security concerns on my home network or nearby?
It's a crucial point, and Matter prioritizes privacy here. For Bluetooth LE advertising, for instance, commissionable devices must use an LE random device address. This address changes every time the device reboots, making it hard to track that specific piece of hardware over time.
Okay, so it's not like a fixed MA address broadcast.
Right. Devices can also use something called a rotating device identifier. Think of it like a serial number that constantly changes at set intervals to prevent persistent tracking. And importantly, once a device is set up and commissioned, part of your fabric, it stops broadcasting itself over Bluetooth LE or those Wi-Fi public action frames for commissioning purposes.
Ah, okay. That's key.
It's a crucial privacy feature, preventing your devices from being easily tracked or identified on public networks once they're safely inside your secure fabric.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
Earlier, you briefly touched on user-directed commissioning. Can you elaborate on that? How might a device actually initiate its own setup process rather than just passively waiting?
Yeah, it's kind of like the device raising its hand.
How might?
It's a neat feature where the device to be set up, the commissionee, can proactively initiate the conversation with a commissioner. It can even provide data in its identification declaration message that a commissioner would otherwise need to hunt for during discovery.
So it could speed things up.
Potentially, yeah. Especially in complex environments, it's actively signaling its readiness.
And there's a kind of deadline for commissioning, a timer. I think I read about a fail-safe.
Yes, absolutely. Commissioning is a time-bound process with a mandatory fail-safe timer. If the commissioning isn't fully completed before this timer expires, the whole process terminates.
Why is that so important?
It's a vital security feature. It prevents devices from being left indefinitely in that insecure intermediate commissioning state, where they might be vulnerable to unauthorized access if setup is abandoned halfway through.
Makes sense. What if I want to add a new administrator to a device that's already commissioned? Say, my partner wants to control the lights from their phone too, but I set them up first using my account.
That's where the enhanced commissioning method comes in. It's designed for exactly this. The current administrator, you in this case, can instruct the device to open a new temporary commissioning window. This window uses a new random passcode.
Okay, so not the original QR code passcode.
Correct, a fresh one. Then the device advertises its presence again, but only for this specific purpose, over DNS SD. This allows another administrator, like your partner's app, to securely join the fabric or take control without disrupting the existing setup.
Seamless multi-user access.
That's the idea, designed for modern households.
Some smart devices, like maybe smart ovens or washing machines, have really intricate setup processes, perhaps even requiring you to agree to terms and conditions. Does Matter account for that complexity, or is it just a simple one-size-fits-all setup?
It absolutely does account for that through something called custom commissioning flows. For instance, a complex device might direct you, during setup, to a specific web address. The spec calls it a commissioning custom flower.
Okay.
This URL guides you through any necessary initial setup steps unique to that product, like accepting PNCs, connecting it to the manufacturer's cloud service perhaps, or configuring advanced features.
So manufacturers still have flexibility.
They do. It provides the flexibility they need for complex products while still maintaining a consistent and secure Matter experience overall. It avoids that frustrating scavenger hunt you might remember from some older smart device setups.
Definitely sounds better. 3, the invisible language, communication and security. So devices are in the fabric, they're commissioned, we know how they join the club. Now, the real magic happens or needs to happen. How do they actually talk to each other day to day? And crucially, how do they stay secure doing it?
Right. Once they're set up, Matter employs a variety of transport protocols, basically, different ways for data to travel tailored for specific needs. This includes standard TCP for reliable connections and also something called MRP, which is a reliable version of UDP for general operational messaging.
MRP.
Matter Reliable Protocol. It adds acknowledgments and retries to UDP. It also uses BTP, the Bluetooth Transport Protocol, for communication over Bluetooth Low Energy. And those Wi-Fi public action frames can also be used for certain Wi-Fi communications.
So it chooses the best path.
Exactly. The system intelligently picks the best route for your commands depending on the device, its power requirements, and the network it's using.
Okay, transport's covered. Now, security. That's probably the most critical part for smart homes. We've all heard too many stories about vulnerable devices. How does Matter really lock things down?
Absolutely. Robust security is foundational to Matter. It's not just bolted on. There are two primary methods for establishing secure sessions. First, there's PACE. That stands for Passcode Authenticated Session Establishment.
Otherwise.
That's used for that initial handshake during commissioning. It relies on that shared passcode, the one from the QR code or manual entry, to create a secure, temporary connection just for setup.
Temporary, right.
But once a device is commissioned, Matter switches to CASE, that Certificate Authenticated Session Establishment.
It's used for ongoing stuff.
Exactly. CASE is used for all ongoing secure communication within the fabric. This involves devices exchanging digital certificates, those credentials we talked about, and proving they possess the corresponding private keys. This allows them to derive strong, unique encryption keys for each session.
So it's like PACE gets you in the door, CASE is your permanent ID badge inside.
That's a great analogy. It's like getting a temporary key to enter your digital home, then being issued a permanent, tamper-proof ID card once inside. This ensures ongoing security without you having to constantly re-authenticate devices. And a key benefit of CASE is session resumption. Meaning, if a connection drops briefly, devices can reestablish the secure session much more quickly, without the full computational overhead of exchanging certificates again. This is especially useful for low-powered battery-operated devices. Saves energy.
Gotcha. So my smart device essentially gets a digital ID card that proves it's legitimate, not just during setup, but ongoing.
In a very powerful way, yes. This brings us directly to device attestation. It's a mandatory procedure where your commissioner, during setup, verifies the authenticity of a new device as a certified Matter product. It checks that it's genuine.
How does it do that check?
It involves a public key infrastructure hierarchy, a chain of trust. At the top, you have a Product Attestation Authority, or PAA. Think of it as the ultimate global trusted source for a manufacturer. Then you have Product Attestation Intermediate, or PAI, certificates, maybe per product line or region. And finally, your specific device gets its Device Attestation Certificate, or DAC, issued from this trusted chain.
Like a birth certificate.
Exactly like a digital birth certificate for your device. It validates its legitimacy and ensures it hasn't been tampered with or counterfeited before it even joins your home network.
Okay, that's for verifying the device itself. What about its ongoing identity on my fabric once it's officially part of my digital home?
That's handled by Node Operational Credentials, or NOCs. These are issued during commissioning. NOCs include a Node Operational Key Pair, public and private keys, and a Node Operational Certificate. The Node Operational Identifier, which uniquely identifies the device on your specific fabric, is cryptographically bound to the device's public key within that NOC.
Ah, so the fabric ID and the device key are linked.
Precisely. This forms the basis for all secure communications on the fabric using Case. It's the permanent secure ID that allows it to operate within your trusted smart home domain.
Okay, this sounds very thorough. How does Matter keep my actual smart home commands private and prevent tampering? I mean, when I tell my smart lock to unlock, how do I know that command isn't intercepted and maybe altered?
Right, the actual message security. Data confidentiality and integrity are absolutely fundamental. Matter uses strong, industry-standard cryptographic techniques like AES-CCM and AES-CTR for every message. Every encrypted message includes a message integrity check, or MIC. Think of it as a digital checksum or seal. If the message is altered even slightly in transit, the MIC won't match and the receiving device will reject it.
So no tampering.
Correct. It also uses unique nonces numbers used once for each encryption operation. This prevents attackers from analyzing patterns or replaying old encrypted messages. Furthermore, message counters are used. Each message has a sequence number. This prevents replay attacks where an attacker might capture a valid unlock door command and try to resend it later. The device would see the old counter number and reject it.
Smart.
And for groups of devices, like all your living room lights responding to one command, a shared global message counter with rollover ensures synchronized security. If one light gets command #105, they all expect #105. If someone tries to send #104 again, it's rejected.
That's a lot of layers. But networks aren't perfect. What if a message gets lost or garbled on my network? Maybe my Wi-Fi blips for a second. Does Matter have a way to ensure commands actually get through?
It does. That's where the Reliable Messaging Protocol, or MRP, which I mentioned briefly, comes in. It typically operates over transport protocols like UDP, which are fast but don't inherently guarantee delivery. MRP adds that reliability layer. It uses retransmission timers and acknowledgments. Think of it like sending a registered letter. You get confirmation it arrived. MRP ensures messages are delivered, even in less reliable network conditions, by automatically resending them if an acknowledgement isn't received within a certain time.
Okay, so it's robust against network glitches too. Now, what if I want to give different people or maybe different apps different levels of control? Maybe my kids can turn on the living room lights, but definitely can't unlock the front door.
That's precisely governed by Matter's robust access control system. It's really quite granular. It's rule-based, which means, by default, no access is permitted. You have to explicitly grant it.
But starting point.
Permissions are granted via access control lists, or ACLs. You create entries saying, essentially, this user or this device can perform these actions on that device. And device manufacturers can also impose restrictions, defined in access restriction lists, or ARLs. The system supports different privilege levels: view, just see status, operate, control it, manage, change settings, and administer full control, including managing access for others.
So you can really fine-tune who did what.
Exactly. And importantly, the initial administrator privileges are implicitly granted during that first PACE commissioning phase. So you, as the person setting it up, automatically get the power to define all these rules right from the start. 4. Beyond the basics, advanced features and maintenance.
Okay, so Matter sounds fantastic for new devices hitting the shelves, but let's be real, what about all my existing smart devices? The ones that aren't Matter-enabled, maybe older Zigbee bulbs or Z-Wave sensors. Do I have to, toss them all out and start fresh? That seems wasteful.
Not at all. And this is a huge win for consumers, a really important point. Matter explicitly supports bridging.
Bridging, okay, tell me more.
A bridge is essentially a Matter device that acts as a universal translator. Its job is to expose your non-Matter devices, like those Zigbee or Z-Wave ones you mentioned, to your Matter fabric.
So the bridge talks Matter, but also talks Zigbee.
Exactly. The bridge allows your Matter controller, like your phone app or smart speaker, to send commands to and receive status updates from these bridged devices as if they were native Matter devices themselves.
Ah, So they appear in my Matter app just like any other device.
Precisely. A bridge can even expose logical groupings of older devices, like all my living room Zigbee lights, as a single entity to your Matter controller. It's all about extending the life of your existing investments and bringing them into the unified Matter ecosystem.
That is genuinely useful.
Hmm.
Now, many smart devices like battery-powered sensors aren't always connected. They sleep to save power, right?
Correct.
How does Matter handle these intermittently connected devices, or ICDs? It's not like they can constantly listen for commands if they're trying to last months on a battery.
That's a critical design challenge, and Matter solves it quite elegantly. ICDs are indeed designed to conserve power by sleeping, sometimes for long periods. Matter provides specific mechanisms, an ICD management cluster, and a check-in protocol. When an ICD wakes up, say, a door sensor detects opening, it can send a quick check-in message to any clients, like your hub, that have registered interest in it.
So it reports in when it has something to say.
Yes, but what's really smart is the other way around. A client, like your phone app, can also send a stay active request command to an ICD. This asks the sleepy device to remain awake and responsive for a specified duration. This allows for a series of interactions, maybe to update its settings or get a more detailed status report without completely draining the battery by keeping it awake constantly.
So you could wake it up on demand, briefly.
Exactly. And the spec even defines different types of ICDs, like long idle time LIT and short idle time SIT devices, with slightly different behaviors optimized for their specific use cases, like sensors versus, say, battery-powered locks.
Okay, interesting nuance. How do our smart devices get software updates? That's always a bit nerve-wracking. How do we know those updates are safe and legitimate, not some malicious software disguised as an update?
That's handled by the OTA software update cluster. OTA meaning over-the-air. An OTA requester device, like your smart bulb, queries an OTA provider, usually the manufacturer's server, or maybe a hub for new software images. Now, critically, it's mandatory in Matter for these software images to be verified for authenticity and integrity using strong asymmetric cryptography.
Meaning digital signatures.
Precisely. The image is digitally signed by the manufacturer. Your device checks that signature using a trusted public key before it even considers installing the update. This is crucial for security, ensuring you're only installing trusted, untampered software.
Good. Do I get a say in when it updates?
The OTA provider should also obtain user consent before applying an update. So ideally, you get a notification asking if you want to update now or later, giving you control. The actual transfer of the update file often uses another protocol called BDX, the Bulk Data Exchange Protocol, which supports both synchronous and asynchronous transfers, making it efficient for different device types and network conditions.
And if something does go wrong, despite all this, how do you troubleshoot a Matter device? Is there a standardized way to figure out what's happening, or is it back to vague blinking lights?
Thankfully, yes, there's standardization here too. Matter includes various diagnostics clusters.
Yeah.
Think of these as standardized health reports for different aspects of the device. There's general diagnostics, thread network diagnostics, Wi-Fi network diagnostics, even Ethernet network diagnostics.
You can get actual data.
Yes. These provide standardized metrics and information like network signal strength, error counts, uptime, things like that, which can help you, or maybe a support team, diagnose potential problems with device operation or network connectivity. It aims to cut down on the guesswork when something isn't working right.
That sounds incredibly helpful. Finally, let's quickly touch on the real secret sauce of interoperability. How all of this is formally defined in the specification. This is where the magic of mix and match across brands truly becomes possible, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It's all meticulously laid out in the data model and the interaction model. These are the real heart of interoperability. The data model defines the capabilities of devices through clusters. Think of clusters as standardized bundles of features. There's a lighting cluster for brightness and color, a thermostat cluster for temperature control, a door lock cluster, and so on.
Standardized feature sets.
Exactly. Within these clusters, you have standard attributes, device properties like current temperature, standard commands, actions like lock door, and standard events, notifications like motion detected. It also specifies all the standard data types, numbers, strings, booleans, etc.
And the interaction model.
That describes how devices actually talk to each other using this data model. It defines standard transactions like read, get an attribute value, write, change an attribute value, invoke, trigger a command, and subscribe, get notified of changes. This rigorous standardization down to specifying conformance rules for every single element, saying whether it's mandatory, optional, or conditional for a certain device type, is what allows your Philips Hue bulb and your Google Nest Hub and your Amazon Echo to truly understand each other's commands and states.
That's the key.
That's what makes mix and match seamless. It even defines fabric-scoped data versus non-fabric scoped, ensuring certain sensitive information is strictly tied to your trusted fabric, adding another layer of security and separation. This incredible depth of definition is what elevates Matter from just a simple connection standard to a true universal language for smart homes. Outro.
Wow, that truly was a deep dive into the Matter 1.4 specification. We've covered, well, everything from how your devices get their secure digital IDs and securely chat with each other,
The commissioning, the case and paste.
to how they get software updates, manage power efficiently, and even how older devices can join the party through bridging.
Yeah, it's comprehensive. The overarching takeaway for you, the listener, is that Matter provides a comprehensive, highly secure, and most importantly, truly interoperable framework for your smart home. It's designed to give you more control, much better privacy than maybe some older systems, and a more seamless experience across different brands, even extending to your existing devices via those bridges. The meticulous level of detail in this specification, which we've only scratched the surface of, really fundamentally underpins a robust and user-friendly future for connected living.
So what does this all mean for you? Consider this. With Matter aiming to become the undisputed universal language for smart homes, how might this standardization fundamentally empower you? How might it let you truly mix and match devices from any manufacturer you like, or maybe even inspire you to build your own smart home solutions without ever feeling locked into a single ecosystem again? And maybe more excitingly, what incredible new innovations do you think this unprecedented level of interoperability will unlock in the years to come now that devices can finally truly understand each other? Something to think about.